President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered the Central Bank of Nigeria with immediate effect to exclude the importers of food items from having access to foreign exchange through the official window. This measure, according to the Central Bank of Nigeria, is expected to buttress the value of Nigeria's foreign reserves, which stands at $44 billion today. The Apex Bank also stated that the Naira will, as a result of the directive, become stronger against forex volatilities. Panorama from the NTA Kaduna Network Center will examine the benefit of the ban and how local farmers and processors can take its advantages. But before then, let's take a look at the news making the rounds. My name is Abdullahi Mohammed. Good to have you. Stay with us. A 60-bed, ultra-modern reference hospital constructed by the Nigerian Air Force to provide tertiary health care for its personnel and their families, as well as host community, has been inaugurated in Daura, Katsina State. President Muhammadu Buhari, who performed the ceremony, charged the service to ensure that the facility serves as a center for medical research towards finding solutions to public health concerns in the country. Adamu Sambo reports. Let's move on to the next story. The Operation Wall Stroke says it has recovered not less than 2,000 rustled cows and arrested 10,000 suspects for 10 suspects for banditry, kidnapping, and arms manufacturing. Commander of the operation, Major General Ademi Yekini, says the suspects were picked up in Benue and Nasarawa State. Charles Abba has details of this report.
Stroke has continued to fight armed banditry, kidnapping, and other criminal activities in Benue, Nasarawa, and Taraba states to instill peace and tranquility. Commander of Operation Stroke, Major General Adeyemi Yekini, explained that the latest operation embarked upon by the command led to the clampdown of the suspected armed bandits and kidnappers from Benue and Nasarawa states.
Enough is enough. We will not tolerate banditry. We will not tolerate kidnapping. We will not tolerate other arms of extortion and criminalities in the Benue State in particular, but not just Benue State, but also Nasarawa and Taraba State.
The command recovered one AK-47 and one self-operational rifle, 3 locally made pistols, 4 locally made guns and ammunition. Major General Yekini, who attributed the success of the operation to information from members of the public, assured the people of the command's determination to reduce crime to its barest minimum. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
That report was packaged by Ahmad Umar Kudang. It's on the collaboration between the EFCC and other security agencies in the country. Let's move on now. The federal government is working on necessary regulations to further encourage public-private partnerships within the power sector. Vice President Yemi Oshibajo stated these at the inauguration of the new Abuja 260-megawatt substation. Adeni Taiwo reports.
In human population that requires steady energy supply for both domestic and industrial needs, Abuja, the Ogun State capital, and its environs require much more than what the lower circuit 2x40 MVA 33 kVA from Otapa substation currently offers. For the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, taking the review of the new 2x60 MVA 33 kVA substation built under the NIPP scheme is a necessary reinforcement to improve power supply to Abuja consumers. Professor Oshibajo highlights the need for existing distribution companies to inject more resources, while government works on creating proper framework for more private energy distributors to open up the market. As a beneficiary of the power project, Ogun State, and indeed other states in the country, can assist in solving the electricity challenge if there are legal framework spelling out roles of states and local government in the power sector.
We must all realize that this project will not only improve the economic activities of their communities and environs, but go a long way in the successful implementation of our joint agenda of building a future together.
Stakeholders in the sector and traditional rulers in Ogun State say the new power station holds a lot of potentials for socio-economic development in the area. Nigeria currently has about 8,342 megawatt generated capacity with less than 4,000 megawatts distributed. In Abuja, Adeni Taiwo, NTA News.
We'll now check the EFCC report. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, is seeking stronger collaboration among security agencies in the fight against financial crimes. New commandant of the Academy, Professor Ladi Hamalai, stated this during her first working visit to the Nigerian Defense Academy in Kaduna. Ahmad Umar Kodang has details.
The relationship between EFCC and Nigerian Defense Academy was strengthened 3 years ago with the training of the Commission's personnel in drilling, weapon handling, and cybercrime, among others. Currently, 328 EFCC detectives are undergoing training in NDA. This visit by the Commandant EFCC Academy is a follow-up to earlier visit by the acting chairman of the commission, Ibrahim Magu, with a view to strengthen the collaboration between the two agencies.
At the end of the day, if EFCC is effective, the whole nation benefits, all of us benefit. So I'm really happy.
Commandant Nigerian Defense Academy, Major General Adeni Oyebade, says the academy is committed to imparting qualitative training on the cadets to further equip them for
Operation.
President Muhammadu Buhari has urged state governors to be more proactive or take more proactive measures rather in securing the lives and property of their people. This, he said, is necessary towards complementing his administration's genuine effort at tackling active criminality for peace and prosperity. The president stated this at an audience with governors of Kano, Katsina, and Zamfara states in Daura. Adamu Sambo reports.
Before the closed-door engagement with the governors, President Muhammadu Buhari interacted with the service chiefs led by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Gabriel Abayomi Olonishakin. Details of their discussions were not made public, and efforts to hear from any of them were unsuccessful. At the meeting with the governors, the president harped on the need for sustained efforts at achieving peace and security, which he described as prerequisites for any meaningful development. His administration, he said, is committed towards protecting the lives of Nigerians and setting the country on the path of peace and prosperity, saying, however, that this can only be achieved if the governors key into the various national security initiatives. The governors, who used the opportunity to brief the president on the security situation in their states and the way forward, told newsmen that the meeting was fruitful.
Everybody in Nigeria is happy with what we are doing. Before, you cannot pass through Jibia Kauranamuda Road. Now we have opened the road. So what is the behind the success achieved so far? As a human being, first of all, you have to be trustworthy, you have to be direct, and don't deceive. So we engage these people and we engage them fairly, and they accepted all the offers we offered to them. As I told everybody, we did not give them money or anything. All the people they released to us is unconditional, without paying any ransom. And we see they even release foreign national from Korea without paying a single kobo. And before I came, he was there about 7 months under captivity. So Zamfara is calm now and is peaceful. So we thank God for that. So I briefed him that now we have achieved a lot of success, and he promised me to do more about security in the state.
Kano is peaceful. Kano has been peaceful. I think it's one of the most peaceful states in the federation. So I also briefed him how we coordinated the security agencies in Kano, and also how we involved the community participation, especially the new emirates that we created. They are actively involved in keeping peace and stability in the state.
So what did he tell you?
He is very grateful. He is happy with the situation, and he has given me every encouragement to continue maintaining peace and stability in Kano.
In the meantime, President Muhammadu Buhari has defied the early morning downpour to inaugurate 2 more roads projects constructed by Katsina State government under the restoration agenda of the Masari administration. The roads were the 38-kilometer Sapke, the Naunai, Ruankaya road linking 20 agrarian communities in Dutsi and Mashi local government areas, as well as Fago, Kasayel, Kwasarawa, Jirdede, Koza road connecting 4 council areas of Katsina State.
Katsina is an agrarian state. We entirely depend on agriculture and our markets. So our intention is to open up farming communities, access to markets, so that the mobility and the cost of products will be affordable to the consumers as well as beneficial to the farmers.
The governor said 44 other road projects are at various stages of completion. From Katsina, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Many thanks, Adamu Sambu. We're going to take a short break now. Panorama continues shortly. Stay with us. The act establishing a Nigerian prison service has been repealed following the signing into law of an act of correctional center by President Muhammadu Buhari. It is sequel to these that Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje granted amnesty to about 200 inmates during his visit to some correctional centers across the state. Abdullah Mustafa reports.
Admissions to prisons, remand homes and rehabilitation centers are among this year's engagements of Kano State Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje. Among the places visited by the governor are Children Remand Homes, VVF Rehabilitation Center and Kano Central Prison. In addition to foodstuff and livestock donated to the prison, Dr. Ganduje facilitated the release of 200 inmates. Those released were serving various jail terms for various minor offenses. This brings to 2,717 the number of inmates so far released under his administration.
We believe those of you who are being released are born again. You will not commit any offense that will bring you back to this prison. And you all promise that you will be of good behavior.
Kano State Controller of Prisons, Magaji Ahmad Abdullahi, thanked the governor for his continued support to the operations of the service. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
And some business matters now. Nigeria and Pakistan have worked out a new trade policy towards reviving textile industries in the country. Joshua Ojito reports that the policy is also to increase the volume of trade between the two nations.
Nigeria and Pakistan have for long enjoyed bilateral ties, especially in areas of military cooperation and recently counter-terrorism. Now, the two countries are working to improve their economies with a new trade policy that will see Pakistan supplying local textile industries with raw materials for production to support federal government's drive to promote made-in-Nigeria goods.
Nigerian policies of the President Buhari are that they don't want to encourage import of finished goods. So what we are going to focus on is to provide the raw materials so that the Nigerian textiles, they take off once again as they were in the previous decades.
A forum such as this to celebrate the 72nd independence anniversary of Pakistan has provided another platform for the two countries to renew commitment to implementation of the trade agreement.
Nigeria is always open to initiatives such as this and is open to training in the sciences. We acknowledge Pakistan's cooperation in international fora and hope to continue our shared support for one another.
Both countries were former British colonies and share many things in common. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Still looking at economic matters, Nigeria has recorded significant progress in its drive towards self-sufficiency in food production and revitalizing the manufacturing sector. The success is, however, being threatened by the illegal importation of some goods, which is pushing to the edge the return on investment of many indigenous manufacturers. Land borders and the restrictions on access to foreign exchange for the imports of some goods by the Central Bank of Nigeria has, without any contradiction, gave a shield to many indigenous manufacturers. This has kept return on investment in the subsector comfortable. It is to sustain these that some stakeholders came out to hail the Buhari administration and sought for tighter measures to check illegal imports.
The nation debates be organized for experts to give their opinions on the pre-shipment inspection, cancellation, while we urge the leadership of the 9th National Assembly to quickly investigate this action before it collapses Nigerian economy.
Just imagine these factories, they lay off out. How can we cope? So it's pleased. So that's why he came here now to show our solidarity, okay, to speak to government to help us, okay, to stop slugging of material from foreign places.
The activities of smugglers, stakeholders say, is threatening the survival of indigenous manufacturing, thereby putting millions of jobs at risk. Studio to discuss the restriction on access to foreign exchange to those importing food into the country. Professor Seth Akutson is a professor of economics from Kaduna State University. Professor, good to have you on Panorama.
Thank you, my pleasure, please, thank you.
First of all, I would like you to give me your take about this restriction by the president, which he made earlier this week.
Thank you very much, but let us clarify that it remains restriction. It's not a ban. And then not only that, we should look at the intention. The intention is good, of course. But what do? We have to sit down and effect some planning, execution, so that to avert the likelihood of the unintended consequences. And I think that's the place to look at. It's a presidential directive to the central bank governor. We should also remember that the central bank governor is not an executive governor of a state. So he is appointed by the president. And yes, the president can give him directives, and it behoves him. If such directives have consequences, economic consequences, he will meet the president and discuss that with him and say, well, we could do it this way and do it. He sit down and look at how will he plan, engaging the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, and also the Fiscal Policy Committee, FPC, that is represented by the Nigerian Economic Management Team. Although that committee is yet to be inaugurated because of the ministers that are yet to be. These are some of the issues that we have to look at.
Let's look at the benefits therein.
Well, the benefit, of course, we know that we are going to begin to look inward for food sufficiency and food security. That is one. The second thing is that our foreign external reserve will be improved from its current 45 billion USD. It may go to about 50 something. So that's two. And then thirdly, the local production of food, people will begin to go into farming, given the chances that now that there is no competition as it were. So these are some of the benefits that one will get, and of course, if we put our act together, it will be better for the economy.
What should the local farmers and then processors of agricultural products begin to do now that this, platform is given to them?
Oh yes, well, this is a great opportunity for them. It does. Of course, anybody who want to import food item, rice, and the rest of them, you know that he has to source for his source for his foreign exchange reserve from outside. And so, but a way to do it now, it means export of food production will be boosted, because now if you want foreign reserve, you have to export some good from Nigeria, sell them abroad, and then get those foreign reserves. Then you now use it to buy what you want to buy to import. So you can see what is going to be good for us. So the farmers now have to put their act together, have to bring resources together. They can form cooperative. Of course, they have some farmers cooperative and all that. They come together and see how they can engage the central bank to begin to increase their production so that they can meet up with the local demand and what is likely to happen as a result of this policy.
Okay, let's also take a look at what your expectation is from the lender last resort, that's the CBN, with regards to building the capacity of these farmers and food processors.
Well, of course, there are a lot of policies already in place, particularly the one that seems to be most successful is the anchor borrowers policy of the government, that it need to be strengthened, given now with this kind of policy in place, they need to strengthen that. Then of course, the central bank has to work with the various security agencies because, of course, if we now want people to go back to farm, we should work on issues of security so that people will be farming without any challenge of security and all that. And apart from that also, the central bank has to work with the commercial banks, and also even the microfinance bank, the development bank in the country, so that they can see how do they support these farmers to boost their production. What are their challenges? How will they help them to solve those challenges? And then, very importantly, that we've been facing challenges is extension services to farmers. Such extension services have not been meeting the needs of the farmers. And if we do that, because the farmers are facing challenges of seedling and a lot of things, storage and what have you. So if you have enough extension services, we empower them working with the research centers of the various universities, you will discover that a lot can be achieved as a result of this policy. It's a good policy. The intention is clear. We need to work around it and come out very strong as a result. No country we want to see itself importing food from outside its own shore. So I think that the policy is good, but we must work hard to avert, some challenges, smuggling, corruption, and so on that are associated with good policies of this nature.
Do you think, or do you expect that another kind of maybe incentive, like the anchor borrower incentive that you talk about, can be brought in this time around again to support this, since another restriction is placed?
Of course, if there are policies, incentive policies, the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, the Nigerian Investment Council, and the rest of them provide various incentives that will help people, to export and what have you. Now, some of those incentives, we have to talk about issue of fertilizers, subsidizing heavily for people, because that is where the major input in this crude nature of farming involved. And then mechanized farming, that the government have to look at it. How do we support the farmers to become more mechanized and travel all around the road? You'll be seeing that people are still involved in all kind of primitive form of farming. And those are the areas that we have to look at, and it will be better for the country.
Thank you very much, Professor.
Thank you very much. My pleasure. Thank you.
And let's move on now. Another set of young Nigerians have been inducted into the Kaduna State Youth Leadership Skills Acquisition Program, known as Kashim Ibrahim Fellowship. Governor Nasir Ahmed El-Rufai urged the new fellows to leverage on the opportunity provided by the program to become next generation of leaders who will contribute to national development. Muhammad Umar Ajingi has details of this report.
Which was conceived about a year ago, aims at developing and nurturing young Nigerians with leadership ability, with a view to injecting fresh minds into the civil service. These 16 new fellows were selected out of the about 8,000 candidates who applied for the program.
My reflections over the years reinforce my view that
we apologize for that, sending that report. And that brings us to the end of Panorama, coming to you from the Kaduna Network Center. Thanks for being part of it. Goodbye.